In this video, I'll share with you how you can generate 10 to 20 qualified calls every single week using social media, whether that be LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook. My name is Lloyd Yip, and I've generated millions of dollars worth of sales in the last 3 years utilizing those exact platforms. So today, I'll be giving you the inside look of how we've actually generated those results for ourselves. By the way, this is part of a free mega course that goes extensively into everything that you'll need to know about growing your business and acquiring clients online, and how to do so scalably and repeatably. So if you want to see the entire course, then just click on the link below and you'll be able to see it for yourself. All right, so I'm going to be discussing a couple things here for all of these platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. The first thing that I want to talk about with all of these will be how to build lists, how to actually find the prospects that you want to talk to. And then after that, I want to talk a little bit more about the strategy of how you would actually be engaging with them, what you say in the conversation, how you actually reach out. And then finally, I'll discuss how you can even start to automate and make the entire process a little bit more efficient. So let's start with LinkedIn. With LinkedIn, list building is relatively easy. And the reason why is because LinkedIn inherently is trying to help you actually identify all of your ideal customers. That being said, if you want to have the full power of LinkedIn's database, you will need to pay for Sales Navigator because the normal version of LinkedIn's filtering leaves a lot to be desired, okay? But Sales Navigator is relatively cheap, and if you can even generate one customer from it, it'll pay itself over like 10x. So that being said, I would recommend that you use Sales Navigator, okay? So how do you actually deploy Sales Navigator? Well, essentially, you're able to input all of the different search criteria that you are looking for in terms of your perfect audience base. Geography, industry, how big their company is, how long they've been at their respective organizations. So this gives you a lot of power in order to actually go after the perfect people that you want. And frankly, there's a lot more filters that you can use. For example, do you have any mutual connections with them? Are they interested in specific topics or part of specific LinkedIn groups? So I'll let you kind of explore this on your own time, but the idea is that you have a lot of flexibility to identify where your customers are. And the nice thing is, once you have this list inside Sales Navigator, you can more or less start messaging them one by one, or you can use automation tools in order to send them messages at scale. So like I said, a little bit later in this video, I'll be talking about how you can actually automate this entire messaging process, as well as what you can say. But for this first part, I just want to talk about how you can actually build the list. Now with Facebook and Instagram, it's a little bit less automated. Because of the fact that they don't necessarily want you to have such easy access to find your ideal clientele. So on Facebook, my recommendation is you start to target people who are part of groups that have a similar type of interest or psychological profile as your clientele. So for example, let's say you're selling to software founders or SaaS founders, then obviously you would try to go after a group which has SaaS founders. And you can literally just type in SaaS, and you could see all these groups that contain people that are also interested in this particular topic. So these are great places that you can go and start to prospect out of. And then all you need to do if you actually want to prospect these people is you could just go into the member section like I've done, and then you could pretty much just go into the newest join members, add friend, and then send a message. So, I mean, obviously compared to LinkedIn, it's a little bit clunkier. It's not quite as UI, UX friendly because Facebook doesn't necessarily want you to be prospecting in this way, but it's still very much doable. Keep in mind with Facebook, if you just start adding a bunch of people who you have no mutual friends with, Facebook will think that it's a little bit odd, and they might stop you from adding a friend request or sending a message. So best thing you do is you can start with the people who you are already mutual friends with. And if you don't actually have any mutual friends at all, then the best thing that you can do is maybe just engage in the group, share some content, reply to other people's posts and whatnot, and then start adding those people as friends, have a little bit of a conversation with them. And then from there, because you'll have now more reach in the group, you'll be able to add more people, so on and so forth. Another method that you can use on Facebook to go after your ideal audience is building your own Facebook group. This is a little bit more advanced because obviously building your own Facebook group requires that you also create content, and you got to find people to join your group in the first place. So I actually have another video that talks a bit deeper about Facebook group strategy. So just check it out either here or here. But the benefit of having your own group is that it's much easier for you to actually start conversations with these people because they already know your face. You've already earned a little bit of goodwill with them. You can share content. You can even see here that recently I just made a post saying, hey, I have this piece of content. If you want it, just comment below and you can get it. And a lot of people commented. And these people I'll just DM, have a quick conversation with, and they're someone who actually wants to talk to me, so it's a little bit easier. And generally speaking, it's just a bit better to talk to people who've seen a bunch of your testimonials and they've been in your ecosystem and they trust you already. Literally anyone who joins your group or comments on your stuff, you can obviously just send them a DM and you can have a conversation there. And that's a really great way to build a list. And the nice thing about having your own group is once you hit, say, 1,000 members, Facebook starts thinking that it's a little bit more credible, and you'll actually just start getting random people join just because Facebook is recommending it in the algorithm to other people who are interested in that specific topic. So for me, I get people all the time just randomly find my group because they're also interested in growth. And it's not like I tried to market to them, they just somehow found it because Facebook's recommending my stuff. With Instagram, the way that I would try to find my ideal tribe, the people who I would sell to, is I would essentially just follow other people who sell to a similar audience. For example, Austin here, he has a pretty big following and he sells to people that are trying to learn how to become an agency owner or an entrepreneur. So a lot of his followers are going to be pretty similar to my ideal buyer. So what I'll actually do here is I'll just pretty much poach his followers because it's all public information. I could very easily just find whoever's following him and I could just add them and DM them. So those are pretty much the ways that I would go and find the lead lists, whether it be on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. All right, now let's talk a little bit about what you actually are going to be saying to them in the DMs, because obviously the purpose of social media is that you want to book meetings, and the best way to book meetings is not just sharing content, although that's helpful, but it's also going to be engaging with them directly in the DMs and try to talk them actually into booking a call with you, because even if they like you, most of them are going to be too passive to book a call all on their own without you actually being a bit more proactive. In my channel, in these videos that I've created, I've spoken at length about the importance of actually not just trying to pitch right out of the gate, asking for a call. It's really important that you build a bit of rapport, earn some goodwill by sharing valuable content that is like relevant and helpful to them. So I'm gonna give you some examples here of how our setter team actually manages some of these conversations. And I'll do this on all the channels, all right? So first let's look at LinkedIn, right? In this situation, we actually do a cold outreach here, and we're not necessarily asking for anything, a call, time on their calendar out of the gate, because we know that would be too much. We're just trying to figure out, okay, what are her pain points? What are her goals? And as soon as she tells us, yeah, like I'm looking to sell to C-suite level, I'm trying to figure out how to deploy LinkedIn as a channel to capture that attention, then we start sending them content, right? One of my better videos is actually about how to use LinkedIn as a way to generate leads. So we send that to her, and then we just continue asking more questions, getting more goodwill, and eventually she's actually asking us, what do you charge? And ultimately we book her into a call. So this is a good example of sending content as part of our outreach. Same thing on Facebook. In this situation, Kay actually joined our Facebook group, which was all about growth. So our setter automatically sends them a message, hey, thank you for joining our group. What is it that you joined for? What are you hoping to learn? And then in this situation, because she joined us and she's probably seen a little bit of her content already, she's willing to give us a ton of information, right? She's growing fast. She's looking to hire an appointment setter. She's trying to do all this type of stuff. And this makes it a lot easier for us, obviously, because now this isn't as cold of a conversation. We're moving into this conversation with a little bit more context. Maybe there's already a little bit of trust being built because of the work that we've done prior. But even then, we're going to now take what she's given us, take the pain points, her goals, and then we're going to give them even more content. In this case, she's obviously looking to learn how to hire setters because that's what she said in the context of the conversation. So we have a guide all about that. We send it to her, and this allows us to ultimately book a call later on in the conversation. And a setter is doing all of this, obviously. So it's really, really quite effective. And I promise you, if you're just doing cold outreach on its own, whether it be on email or social media, and you're not sharing any content, if you're just trying to go for the kill right out of the gate, it's going to be very challenging. The reason why we book calls is because we have content, right? Here's another example, right? Sebastian actually found us on LinkedIn. He's been binge watching a bunch of our YouTube videos. And obviously I've talked about this extensively in my channel, the value of having long form video content that they can just binge to the point that they'll even just DM you. They'll make it so much easier for you to ultimately book a call because they come in already kind of warm. So he wants to connect. It's really quite easy for us to start asking some questions, to do a bit of qualification, to understand, okay, are they even a good fit? What are his pain points? And ultimately, we book him on a call, he becomes a client. And then finally on Instagram, I just wanted to share this example with you because it's good to share examples from all the channels. Here's one of the story highlights that I've made, just sharing content, sharing easy access to my YouTube channel, as I've mentioned before. And then Fernando here just DMs me. He stumbled on our video talking about a bunch of different things, and he's now asking us questions. Whenever people do this, it makes it a lot easier for us to have a conversation, qualify in the DMs, and ultimately book a call. So this is really, really effective, and you can do this literally across every single channel. So of course, if people are coming to you via them outreaching because they saw your content, it makes it really easy. But even if you're doing totally cold outreach, as I've shown you before with Leora, as long as you're adding value and you're giving away free content, and you're asking questions to qualify before you try to book the meeting, you will be able to generate lots and lots of calls. And then it's just a matter of volume, right? Are you willing and able to spend the time to send out 20, 30, 50 messages a day across every single channel that you're utilizing, or having even multiple accounts on every social media channel in order to expand your volume? Now, the question that you might have is, okay, this sounds relatively manual, and this sounds like it would be very time consuming. And of course, I don't want you to spend like 1 billion hours doing all these DMs, because then you don't really have time to be a CEO or a business owner working on strategic initiatives such as hiring or client fulfillment or things like that, right? So that's why I want to share with you in these last couple points in regards to social media, how you can start to automate and put all of these action steps into a bit more of like an autopilot procedure. So with LinkedIn, it's relatively easy because you can literally just use a tool called Dripify. Pretty much it's just an automation tool, and you can pretty much just take one of the searches that you've built on Sales Navigator, throw them into this tool, and it'll automatically just blast out conversations and messages and connection requests to all those leads. And you can see an example of here, right? I'm going after this specific lead list. I just uploaded it from Sales Navigator, and now it has this multi-step campaign where I'm pretty much able to put in a set of copy to ultimately get them to respond. And it's really cool because it provides me an inbox so I can have all the conversations being managed here, as well as metrics on how the campaign is performing. So this is really amazing. That being said, with Facebook and Instagram, it's a little bit more tricky because there aren't as many good tools that you can pretty much set up this automation with. So what I normally do with both Facebook and Instagram is I just have a virtual assistant or an appointment setter that their full-time job is to pretty much just DM anyone who follows me or engages with me and just sends them a message. For example, hey, thank you for joining my Facebook group. How's everything been going, right? Or they respond to conversations that are being DM'd to me, and they'll also just set a target for themselves where every single day they'll reach out to 40 to 50 people. And we'll obviously just give them a conversation script and an opener that they can use that they can just do again and again and again. So in this situation, we'll actually automate by delegation. And whether you're using technology or people, both ways are leveraging another resource outside of your time so that you can ultimately be more productive and achieve more results without you needing to sacrifice and spend your own energy and bandwidth. So that is an overview on how you can really actually generate lots and lots of calls with social media.